Hey folks, this is the first video in this section 4.2 that talks about dividing polynomials. Let's move pretty quickly. There's a lot to cover in this first video. There's two methods of division that we're going to be looking at in this section. The first method is going to be long division, like you did in third grade. This is going to be used when your divisor is not linear or when your divisor's leading coefficient does not equal 1. The second type of dividing that we're going to be doing is synthetic division. We've actually already touched on this earlier in the semester in our course. You're going to use this when your divisor is linear and does have a leading coefficient that is equal to 1. So let's revisit third grade for just a moment and let's remind ourselves of what long division looks like. And we know how to do this, but let's kind of put some steps along with it. We're going to divide 284 divided by 3. So the first thing that we want to do is we just simply want to divide. How many times does 3 go into 28? And we know that that's 9 times. And so then the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to multiply that 9 times the 3, and we're going to get 27. The next thing we'll do is we will subtract. So the 28 minus the 27 is going to give us a 1. And then the next thing that we'll do is we'll bring the next number down. So you bring that 4 down. After you bring that 4 down, and then you're going to repeat. You're going to start all over again. And so we will say 3 goes into 14 4 times, multiply to get that 12, and then subtract again. 14 minus 12 is going to give us our 2. So just a couple of comments about this. The divisor here is going to be the number 3. The dividend is the number 284. The quotient is the number 94, and the remainder is 2. And we know that we can actually write that quotient a little differently. It can be written as a fraction, 94 and 2/3. Just remember that when you have a mixed number like this, the operation between 94 and 2/3 is actually addition. And even though we don't write that, that is what is implied. All right, so now let's take the third grade concept and let's move into a Math 110 or college algebra concept. And this is where we are taking long division and we're going to divide two polynomials. Notice here that my divisor happens to be linear, but it does not have a leading coefficient that's equal to 1. So we do have to use our long division on this. All right, so the first thing that we want to do is we want to take our leading term and divide the leading term. What exactly does that mean? That's going to be the 20x to the 4th, and we want to divide the 5x. So the leading term on the inside divided by the leading term on the outside. When we do that, we're going to get 4x cubed. And then we want to take that number, that 4x cubed, and we want to multiply by distribution. We want to take 4x cubed and multiply by every single piece in the divisor. And so what we have when we do that is we're going to have 20x to the 4th minus 4x cubed. The next thing that we'll do is we will subtract. Now make sure that when you subtract here that you switch all of your signs. So let me use here a different color to do this. That means this 20x to the 4th is going to become negative, and the negative 4x cubed is going to become positive. And so we're going to be subtracting here all of the terms, and that's going to give us a 10x cubed. The next thing what we want to do is we want to bring down the next term, and then we will repeat. So once we repeat, once again, we want to do leading term divide leading term. So this is now the 10x cubed divided by the 5x. 10x cubed divided by 5x is going to give us a positive 2x squared. Make sure you multiply by distribution. So that's going to be your 10x cubed minus 2x squared. And then the next thing you're going to subtract once again. Just make sure that you change every single sign. So the 10x cubed becomes negative and the negative 2x squared becomes positive. So when you subtract here, you're going to get 0x squared. Bring down that next number, which is going to be the positive 15x. And then we repeat, so start all over again. So leading term, divide leading term, 0x squared divided by 5x is going to be 0x. And then you want to multiply by distribution. Well, that's 0x squared minus 0x. And then you want to subtract. When you subtract, you get that 15x. And then the next thing that you want to do is you want to bring down the next term. After you bring down the next term, let's start all over again. So once again, leading term divided by leading term, 15x divided by 5x is going to be a positive 3. Multiply by distribution. Subtract, make sure that you switch all of the signs. And so now you have that remainder of 1. At this point, we've run out of numbers to work with. So our quotient now is this 4x cubed plus plus 2x squared plus 0x plus 3. Of course, we don't have to write the 0x. Our remainder is 1. And when we turn that into a fraction, we're going to add that remainder and then put it over top of the divisor, that 5x minus 1. And that will be our final quotient.